Valve? What did you do? Why, where are all my boys gone? Where's SEAL Team 6? Where's Gigan? I like Gigan. They removed all map-specific factions in Counter-Strike 2. And with that, a sad welcome to a new episode of the cut content of Counter-Strike. Usually we talk about pretty old cut ideas here, but today we unfortunately have to talk about a recent feature that was near and dear to me: map-specific factions for terrorists and counter-terrorists. A feature that is actually older than many of you may be thinking. Originally, in Counter-Strike you could choose between a couple of looks when starting a match. This was the case in Counter-Strike 1.6, Condition 0, and Source, and of course all the old betas before that. Big fan of the Pyjama Lead crew. This all looked fairly random. An office somewhere in the US with individual members of German, American, British, and French special forces having a shootout with terrorists in very random attire? This all didn't make much sense, so having fixed terrorist and counter-terrorist designs for a map made sense. It enhanced the readability of the teams, especially handy for competitive matches, and it just made a lot more sense lore-wise. Terrorists are supposed to be the bad guys, but are they really that stupid to wear a white uniform in an environment like this? Or a green one here? I'm not knocking the selection screen, I'm fond of it, but, doesn't make much sense. And the creators of CSGO agreed with that. And so did the guys at Gearbox Software when they developed Counter-Strike Condition 0 all the way back in 2002. Even back then, Counter-Strike was supposed to feature specific designs for counter-terrorists and terrorists. A large number of these new outfits were designed, but none of them made it into the final release of the game as the development was taken over by Turtle Rock Studios, and they went back to the classic selection screen. But not without giving us at least one more choice. We got the Midwest Militia and Spetsnaz. Even though the map-specific factions were cut from the original PC version of the game, this feature did make it into the Xbox version of Counter-Strike. It even features a bunch of factions that didn't make it onto the PC at all, like Japanese terrorists and counter-terrorists. A link to an episode on that in the pinned comment down below or in the upper right corner. It is possible that different designs for certain models were planned during the development of Counter-Strike Source. These different models for the Phoenix connection could point to that, but that is rather speculative. Valve rarely leaves old ideas unused, so while developing Counter-Strike Global Offensive, a lot of old ideas came up again, including map-specific factions. In CSGO, we used to have Anarchists, Balkan, Elite Crew, Phoenix Connections, Pirates, Professionals, Separatists, and for the CTs, FBI, GIGN, GSG9, IDF, SAS, SEAL Team, and SWAT. That's a pretty big selections for mappers to choose from to give their map some unique looks. And then they introduced agents, with which came a few so far unseen crews like the German KSK. The Kommando Spezialkräfte was originally considered to be a fully fledged faction in CSGO, but they got cut. And as I'm a fan of cut content, I was originally pretty happy about their inclusion, even if they are pay-for agents. But for competitive play, these skins were of course, a nuisance at best. Teams should look uniform. I mean, that's the idea of a uniform, you should be easily identifiable. However, very uniform teams are not so easy to monetize, and as CSGO became Valve's big money maker, it made sense to include more and more of these very individual operators. Today in CS2, it looks as if Valve is going to completely forget about the map-specific factions and is only going to feature default Phoenix Connection and SAS operatives for competitive purposes. The rest of the variety will be provided by pay-for skins. At least for the time being, in the game files we do got a few more models. But only the more recent ones, the ones from the remakes. All of the older ones from the early days of CSGO, like the original SEAL Team 6 or the IDF or Anarchists, they are missing. Agents may look cool individually, but do divers really make sense on Dust 2? I'll leave that question up to you. Oh, and shout out to Marcus for drawing my Fox mascot in that diver suit. If that tickles your fancy, well, go check out our Discord server, he posts a lot in our art section. Seriously, the silliness of some of these models really reach Counter-Strike Online 2 standards. Anyways, what do you think of these changes? Tell me in the comment section. Personally, I hope we'll get back a few more of the map-specific factions. I think it just really adds to the personality of a map. Office needs anarchists and Train needs Balkans. So, I hope this episode will age badly and we'll get those guys back. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe for future content, and if you absolutely love what we do, why not consider supporting us on Patreon, as our supporters there got to see this video well before anyone else. Our wonderful supporters are Lone Wolf, Zat Gladys, Wrapped in Glass, Cookie, Theto, Reval556, Plasma, Tome, Rainbow Flash, Grizzly Bear, Strange Module, Cop Fighter, Inter, CJ Surrit, Sir K, Ram Gilama, Whiskey, Christoph, MTD, Hub, Leggy Boy, Daniel, Fralem, Crony XS, TheoVio, iMantrix, Armon, Ozzy Loco, Rolling Rock, Sidonai, Bobcat Racer, and Golden Fox. A heartfelt thank you for your support. To them and everyone else, thanks for watching. So, see you guys next time. Until then, have a nice day, and as always, goodbye and guten Tag.